Namaskaram. So it's been now 3 weeks at the Isha Yoga Center. I just thought that since it's coming to a close today, I'll share my experience of the last 3 weeks being here at the center. So in my last video, I had shared with you about my volunteering experience in the Bhavaspandana program. So I started off with that, and then after that I was volunteering with the Hatha Yoga school for about a week. So it was nice to get in touch with the new batch of Hatha Yoga trainees. It was so nice to meet so many of them, and just try to see how we can go through that same experience again. It reminded me of my experience in 2016 when I went through this training, and as I was sharing earlier, this time the volunteering experience for me started with BSP, and it was very different experience because I just saw that I was much more willing to do whatever is needed and not trying to bring in on my own calculations in terms of how to manage this or that. So this time the volunteering experience was very different for me. Even in the last 2 weeks, everything went very smoothly, and from last 1 week I was in silence. So this is something I do every 3 months or so. I just come here to the Isha Yoga Center to do some volunteering and silence. I've been doing this for more than 5-6 years, since this is something which has helped me tremendously, and I see that this is an investment I need to make on myself all the time, to constantly see how I am upgrading myself. And I found no better tool than coming here to the Isha Yoga Center and volunteering and taking up silence to help with that. So personally for me, if I have to just share about the experience last 7 days just being at the center and in being in silence, it's like it's like just realizing that less is more. So many times I feel that I need to say so many things or do many things. Silence was an opportunity for me to realize that it's not that I didn't know this intellectually, maybe I knew this, but it's just that when it comes into your experience, when it is something you can feel more closely, then this realization just happens that how much of it, though you may be knowing it, you still may be doing the same thing. So for me, just this realization that that less is more. It's like many times it just happens that you try to see that you have only this much time left and you want to fit in 2 practices. So you somehow try to squeeze in both the practices and end up compromising on both, because you see, I have only 1 hour and I have to somehow finish both these practices. I have to kind of keep up this commitment, and you tend to squeeze both. And slowly over a period of time, what happens is I've noticed that once you just do this, slowly it affects your practices, and then what used to take 1 hour initially may just take half an hour after a few years of practice maybe. And you just don't realize it, because all the time you are just pressed for time, and you feel that you somehow have to manage your practices, and becomes more like a exercise. So when I just come here and when I be in silence, this is the time for me to just observe these things closely and see if I have formed those knots and how to untie those knots, and just to realize that it's very important not to compromise on the integrity of the practices, and just to wake up and see that there is no hurry to do anything. You have all the time in the world to do whatever practices you are doing. Just to slow down. Just slowing down cannot explain how much of a difference it can make. Personally for me, just this slowing down, I noticed that just this slowing down with this 7 days of silence, it makes such a big difference in all aspects of my life, starting from the way I eat. Generally, when there's some food in front of me, it's like it's more of, okay, yeah, I need to eat this much. So you tend to sometimes put more to your plate than what you can eat, because somehow you have to finish, you say, I have to eat this much. But here, when you just notice that maybe it's just a slight, just a slight moment where you are unconscious, and when someone came and served you, you just said yes to it, but though you knew that it was not needed for you. Just being conscious of that one moment can make such a big difference, because suddenly you realize that how unconscious you have been. So this is what I've been seeing in these last 7 days, how little things have crept up, how so many things have loosened up, whether it comes to practices, or if it comes to food, or just the way I am. So it's like an internal cleansing for me, just to become aware of how many things need to be worked upon. And what I found is that this is like a never-ending process, because how much ever you do, I tend to see if I can work on aspects which I am aware of. But there are so many things, once I go back and get busy with so many activities outside, it just happens that so many things tend to slip, and if I don't come back to this, and if I don't come back and slow down, it's just after the end of 5-6 months, it feels like it's been a big shift in terms of how I am. So for me, I realized this, and I noticed that why it is so important for me to continuously work on myself, to look at these subtler aspects of how I am within myself. So just by noticing these little aspects, what I've seen in the last 7 days, so many things changed. Practices which I used to earlier finish off very quickly, now I was doing almost 1.5 to 2 times time I was taking to do that, whether it was the Shakti Chalana Kriya or Surya Kriya, the practices which I was doing. Food, I noticed that with less food itself I could be so much full. And I experimented, like generally in silence I tend to experiment a lot, trying to do things which I have not done before. So this time I thought I'll experiment with just being on a honey diet. I thought initially that I wanted to try for 7 days, but then in 2 days I realized that it was quite difficult to handle, because in just 2 days time, when I was just on a honey diet, nothing but honey and water, I just realized that I was thinking about food most of the time. So I said that's that's not what I wanted to do, because at least if I have just 2 meals, I'm done with that after the meal, But here I was like constantly thinking about food. So I just put that to a stop after 2 days. I said, okay, that was a good learning experience for me. Just being, because I had heard about this in a video from Sadhguru, where he said that if you can, go on a detox by cleansing your system by being on a honey diet for about 7 or 8 days. So I don't know when that I'll be able to do that, but for now I just did for 2 days, and then Ekadasi happened yesterday, so that was a day where I just went with 1 meal. So that happens very effortlessly for me. Just being on 1 meal is not an issue, and just being in the space and not listening to the sounds of engines and cutting, grinding, etc. Just sounds of birds chirping, the wind, all these things which I generally tend to miss. It became so much more obvious, and it became so much more distinct in these last 7 days. And I've just come out with, and I can say that everything has intensified to a huge extent. The practices, just the sadhana, just the way I'm within myself, it has really helped so much. And this is something I feel it's a huge blessing given by Sadhguru, that one can come and work on oneself. A space like this, which is meant for transformation, one can make use of it by coming here, and this opportunity is there that one can stay in intense periods, stay in prolonged periods of silence. So there are many ways you can take up silence if you wish to. You can come here, if you have done samyama, I think they'll allow you for a longer period of time. Otherwise, at least 3 days I think you can take up silence. For me, 3 is easy, 5 is comfortable, and 7 is quite challenging. in terms of silence. So 3 days it just passes by like anything, it feels like I've not done anything much. 5, it feels like silence is slowly sinking in, and 7 feels like a stretch. And when I just managed to do that, I feel like, okay, this was very much needed, and I keep coming back every few months, every 3 months or so, just to work on this. So this has been my commitment for my growth, just to see that how I can accelerate and smoothen this journey by just slowing down and observing. Just imagine, if you were working for 10-15 years, and then one day you just look back and you saw that you were on the wrong road, because you didn't pause. You didn't pause to see whether you are going in the right direction or not. But after 15 years, if you have to turn back and see, it'll be like a life of so much regret, isn't it? That I wish only I had stopped and seen where I am going. So this is like a break or a stop, just to see, just to watch yourself and observe that how has the journey been for you. Are you progressing in the right direction or not? If there's any change which needs to be done, is there any course correction which needs to be done, and fine-tuning that. So if you do this at least 3-4 months, once in 3-4 months, it's not too long before you can, change directions. You don't have to think, you don't have to wait for many years and then you realize, okay, this was the wrong direction, I have to, go some other way. So for me, when I just realized this, when I just got initiated into Shambhavi in 2008, since then, at least the path has been set. So I don't have to look back and I see whether I'm going the right path or not. But at least even in this path, there's so many ways in which you can get lost and get caught up with so many things. In spite of you doing the practices, listening to videos, reading books, there's so many things which can still distract you. And this constant fine-tuning or seeing where you are is very much needed. It's like a check for you, checkpoint for you to see whether things are moving in the right direction or not. So I feel it's very important for a seeker, and if this is something you feel is needed, if you feel that things are going, you're very busy, that you don't have time to look back and reflect on what's happening, then it's even more important for you to take a break and just see. It's not a break from work as per say. It's not a break like that. It's still that even if you're in silence, you'll have a schedule of practices and going to the temple or this or that. You may be still doing activity, but it's just that the activity is very focused, internally focused, and there are no distractions like communication, like phone or internet or whatever else it's supposed to speak to anyone. So it helps you to become more inner focused and to look within yourself and see what's really happening in your system, which I find is very challenging to do at home when you are in the midst of so many other things. So it's a huge privilege given by Sadhguru, and I hope all of us can make use of this. If in any way possible, just see how you can come and spend some time here. If not once in 3 months, maybe once in 5-6 months at least, just to come and see. And irrespective of how many years of sadhana you've been doing, but a check just to see how things are going and to fine tune. So after 3 weeks of being here, looking forward to intense activity over the next 2 months. So I have a lot of programs lined up once I go back. We have a children's program, Srishti Children's Retreat program from October 1st to 3rd. So if you have children or teenagers between ages of 9 to 16, please see if they can make use of this opportunity. Then after that, we have the consecration event, the Naga consecration event in the Bengaluru ashram. So I'm looking forward to attend that event with Sadhguru. So I think for many of us, this may be the first time that we're attending a consecration event with Sadhguru. So if it is the case with you, please see how you can make best use of this opportunity by preparing. I think they have given a preparatory sadhana as well. So please see how you can make use of the same. I'll be looking forward to meeting many of you in person. So many people, whom we have just met online. Maybe you have attended some programs online or somewhere else. And it will be nice to see you in person in Bangalore. and hope you are planning to attend the program. For me, the first time I attended a consecration was in 2010, I think, when Lingaberi was consecrated. So this event, I saw Sadhguru in a very different light, which is very difficult to see Sadhguru in such a intense, mode of. It's not that he's not intense. It's just that when you see him in a consecration, you feel like it's very raw. It's very different, So that was something. After that, I've attended almost all the consecrations which happened after that in the Isha Yoga Center here in Coimbatore. And I'm looking forward to attend this first one in the newly opened Bangalore campus, this Bangalore Center. And I think they have planned a few more consecrations in the next few months. During Makar Sankranti next year, I think they have the Yogi consecration coming up, and maybe the Lingaberi temple as well next year. So many more events like this may happen in the Bangalore Isha Yoga Center. So please see if you can make use of this opportunity, especially being in a consecration process can be very transforming for you, because you may just experience such high levels of energy which are not possible normally in a atmosphere like this, in a controlled atmosphere. So please see how you can make use of it the same. And after that, I have a lot more programs like Hatha Yoga planned in Bangalore. We are planning a Hatha Yoga Fest. So those of you who want to learn Hatha Yoga programs like Surya Kriya, Angamardana, Yogasanas, or even Bhuta Shuddhi, Vastrika, many other practices like Jalaneti, eye care programs. So this will be an opportunity for you to learn them in person. So even if you're preparing for Samyama, as a prerequisite you may need to finish Yogasanas or Surya Shakti or Surya Kriya, so to help you prepare well. So please see if you can make use of this opportunity. And best wishes to those of you who are planning to do Samyama program this year. I think there are 2 batches, one in December and one in Feb. So this is one program where Sadhguru will be there for 8 days. So I think last time it happened was about 3 years before. So many of them are eagerly awaiting this. So please prepare well, those of you who signed up for it, because how well you prepare, if you follow all the guidelines which they have given in terms of preparation, it will help you go through the program very well. So please see if you can prepare well. And I also wish to do it, the one in December. There is a program which they have released, like Samyama sadhana for 8 days for people who have already done Samyama program before. So I don't know how many people they will accept. So I don't know if I have a chance to do the program or not, but if they do accept, I'll be happy to go through the program once more. So much of activity lined up the next few months. And before we come back to this Isha Yoga Center again sometime in December, so many things planned. So looking forward to this intense period of activity now, next few months. So that's how I've been doing, like in the last 2 years. It's like 2 months of intense activity programs, and then 1 month of being here at the Isha Yoga Center, volunteering, silence, and then again it continues, travel or whatever. So this helps me to spend enough time to focus on my sadhana and work on many aspects. At the same time, not compromising on programs as well. So it's like trying to strike a balance and seeing what can be done with whatever resources I have. So look forward to hearing from many of you. If you have volunteered at the Isha Yoga Center before, or if you're planning to attend Samyama, or you're planning to come to the consecration, do leave a comment. It would be nice to hear from you.